Hi guys, this is going to be an introductory video in which I'm hopefully going to explain what this channel is, God willing, going to be about. But first of all, I would like to apologize to people who are going to be watching or listening or both this video, because I actually received an incentive in prayer to start this channel much earlier than I am doing currently. Um, the most the main reason why I did not do it earlier was because I was lazy and I just did not want to do it. I did have some other reasons, but when you narrow it down to one, the main one, it is laziness. So I apologize, and I believe that you're going to forgive me. This incentive was received, I believe, because I was extremely confused after my conversion back to Christianity. I was really confused about biblical faith and people who, including myself, call themselves believers, because I just did not know. I couldn't see the difference between people who call themselves Christians, most of them, and people who just call themselves atheists or agnostics, except for going to church. That's basically like in the way they talk, in the way they plan things, in the way they just like everything. I just could not see the difference, and that was including myself too. And so I was really confused because I wanted to find an answer. Okay, I did have that encounter with the living God, which I actually wrote about in one article in Substack, which I'm going to share in the description of this video. But after that, I left. I was really confused. I did not know where to turn, and I actually started I noticed that when I basically removed everything, every input, I had a chance to do that in certain periods of my life back then, where I could just focus on the Bible, on the biblical texts, and the New Testament especially. I just noticed that something started stirring in me. And then when I would go back to what most people were doing, I would just start losing it, whatever that was. And God gave me a few people whose teachings really helped me a lot, and I was just reading those teachings, listening to their uh, messages, reading their books as well. And so some time passed, and I stumbled upon, so to say, onto Kenneth Hagin and his manual study for biblical faith, and that's actually really helped me a lot, because all those biblical texts I was reading, and I was writing some of them in my notebook, meditating on them. They were all gathered in one place, and they were like put there systematically. So for those people who don't know who Kenneth Hagin is, I mean, you can Google his name. He was a true teacher of faith. So for if a person is listening to this video and is not sure if he or she should listen to this, maybe you're Catholic, maybe you're Protestant, maybe you're Orthodox, this channel is going to be based, yes, on his teachings and teachings of some other people, but everything is based on the Bible. So maybe you're an atheist or an agnostic. I was there. I can't say that I understand you completely, but I've been there, so I know the questions. I know the transitions that I've gone through. So I truly believe that in those cases as well, um, this channel is going to be helpful, because I'm going to be sharing as well some of my testimonies, some of the testimonies of people uh, that I've known, that I've read about, that I just came into contact with. But like I said, the foundation is going to be the Bible, biblical texts. And the way that I like stumbled upon, so to say, upon all of this, like faith was kind of popping out when I was reading the Bible. It was just popping out all over the place as the only condition needed to receive anything from God. And so I was like confused, because that faith seemed so in a way simple, and yet it was totally incomprehensible to my mind. I always liked reading and thinking, and so like I was coming from the place of just thinking and trying to find an answer myself. And I quickly realized that Bible is written for our spirits, not for our minds. It is written for renewing our minds, but Bible faith is not the faith of the mind. It's not the faith of the emotions. And so that was actually what I struggled with the most, because I was just used to thinking about things, talking with people, then like receiving some advice, thinking about those, writing everything down in a notebook, then doing plus minus, pros and cons, and then just making a decision. That is the way that I did everything. And I was also always in some kind of sports, so I had that training background. I know how it works, so it was really hard for me. And still in some fields I am, of course, growing. I am learning as well. And so I believe that this biblical truths that we are going to be hopefully, God willing, as long as we have the technology available, we're going to be laying out. It's going to be extremely helpful to each one who is just ready to learn. I think that's the basic condition that you have to have fulfilled if you want to learn anything. You have to be willing. Like that's, some things you won't understand at first, but as in school, you just go step by step. So this introductory video won't be too long. I just kind of tried to make some kind of a summary of those questions and those biblical verses that kind of like started popping out when I was reading them. And they were like question marks to me. Okay, so for instance, like in this, here we have these 3 verses, and the first one was, I didn't read like the Bible systematically. I was just kind of like popping out, opening up certain epistles and gospels mostly. And so like I opened this is a familiar verse, 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 7, which says, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." And this was like, when I first read it, I was like, okay, I'm going to skip this one. This is I don't understand how this works, because I was, like I said, I was just taught to use my reason, and like that's the only thing that I know. So I'm not sure what to make of this one. And then when I was starting to read the Gospels a bit more in depth, I started noticing that like it's not just Jesus laying hands and doing miracles. Like he's in a lot of places actually talking that faith was the one who healed people. And I was really confused with this one, because I was as a Roman Catholic, I was always taught that like Jesus did the miracles, and there are these special kind of people who are canonized saints, and then they did miracles as well. But for, so to say, common folk, it's not something that you even need to like hope for, not even believe in. And here I was reading Matthew chapter 8 verse 13, where Jesus says, "As you have believed, so let it be done for you." And I again, like that faith was popping out. And then you have in chapter 9 verse 22, where the woman with the issue of blood was kind of like she touched Jesus, and then Jesus said the power went from him, out of him, and again, like he says, your faith. So not my faith, not the faith of priests or pastors, but he said to her directly, like your faith has made you well. And all these verses were kind of like, I started avoiding them because I did not know what to make of them. I am a extremely practical person, so if I read something, I want to apply it straight away. So if it's, I don't know, a book about nutrition, I want to just start experimenting with it right away, just to see if it works or if it doesn't. If it's about fasting, I'm going to start fasting. If it's about different kind of training, I'm going to, experiment it. I won't just read something. Okay, I do like still like reading something and thinking about it, but like if I can't apply it somehow now in the situation that I'm currently in, I just lose interest in it. Yes, okay, it could be true, it's useful information, maybe, I don't know. If you're going to write a book, then maybe, but like how can I apply that? And all of these verses were so out there for me, and I just did not know what to make of them. And so, like I said, I was skipping them until I came to these two verses. So the first of them is, this is also a familiar one, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8, which says, for by grace, okay, we do talk a lot about grace, especially in Catholic Church as well. By grace you have been saved through faith again. So like I said, I was taught the Nicene Creed, I know it, but as the more I was reading the Bible, I actually realized that I can't consider myself to be a believer, because like faith is something that has actually, as we're going to see later on in another videos, it actually has results. So faith is not something that's like far away out there and it's totally like we just are not sure about it. Actually, like faith brings something, it brings a change, and I just did not have that experience. And then this verse, when I read this verse, and I was just, okay, I really need to know and study, find someone who knows about Bible faith from whom I can just learn, because I can't continue. I'm just fooling myself, I'm deceiving myself. I don't understand the basic condition necessary to walk with God, to receive from God, to build with God. I just don't understand it. And if I can't have that kind of faith, then okay, I just want to know that. That was my attitude going in. And like I said, when I read this verse, Hebrews chapter 11 verse 6, which says, but without faith it is impossible. That just kind of popped out of the paper, so to say, and I was like, okay, this is, I'm going to have to go on a trip of learning, so to say. It's impossible to please him, for he who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. And then this Hebrews chapter 11, this whole chapter basically is just talking about people who are believers and their examples of how their faith brought a change into either their lives or the lives of people around them, or in some cases like really the whole world basically. And so that was like just my short testimony of how I basically went into the direction of just having this hunger, so to say, for wanting to learn what is faith in biblical like definition terms. Can I have that kind of faith? Do I have it? Where can I get it? How can I develop it? Those were the questions that were kind of like I just couldn't find an answer. And then as I went on that journey, so to say, it is a journey, because you're learning everything. You're learning basically everything from scratch, because as you go on this journey, you realize that most of the things that you've been kind of thinking about and listening, and it's just wrong. It doesn't go along with what the Bible says. It's actually, in a lot of cases, it's actually like the opposite. And so that was actually like the most difficult part about that whole process. But I truly believe that what the Holy Spirit taught me throughout that process, and what He's teaching me still each day, I believe that it's going to be useful, especially nowadays in these times that we're living in. And I really wish that I believe. I don't wish. I don't just wish. I believe that God is going to bless you through the biblical truth that we are going to be sharing. So God bless you, and see you in the next one.